All right. Hey guys, Dwayne here. I wanted to talk a little bit about how to deal with the stress and anxiety whenever you're trying to process the abuse you're going through and how it pertains to your kids. This has actually been coming up a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a video about it. And the key point that I think is really important is the narcissist is going to use your kids as weapons for as long as they can to just wreak havoc on you. I mean, and it's really unfortunate and it's really messed up. Unfortunately, there's really not a lot that any of us what we can do about it, because they have to be, or they're involved. They are your child's parent, and you can't really get away from that. And they can't get away from you too. But their only option is to do everything in their power to try to make your life a living hell. And as you probably have already experienced, they do a pretty darn good job of that. Now, when you're going through this, I mean, it's really tough because you're dealing with somebody who is negatively interfering with your relationship with your child. And it can be anywhere from from not allowing you to have access to your kid, meaning if you're supposed to, if you have reoccurring contact, well, like I have now, but I didn't in the beginning. In the beginning, I was a weekend dad. In the beginning, it was weekends with a couple of dinner visits, and then as soon as that turned into be a problem, then it was no, you can't have the dinner visits because it's killing the kids to be with you. So I won't allow it anymore, right? Now, fortunately for me, we were already in the process of going through court, so we were able to deal with some of that at that time. But it's still, I mean, the problem is that this is a reoccurring trend that all of us are experiencing. So that means if you're dealing with a narcissistic ex and you have kids, more than likely you are going to deal with this stuff as well. And I guess the key point of it is you need to recognize it for what it is, which is it's gaslighting, triggering behavior where they're trying to manipulate you, trying to basically just control your emotions and make sure you don't get anything that you are trying to get or want to get, and messing with your relationship with your kids. Okay, so how do you deal with it, right? I mean, so that's really the question, what is the correct answer? Well, first thing I'm going to tell you, number one, is you are going to, like you're already experiencing, you're going to have a lot of emotional turmoil and trauma associated with that. And, rightfully so, because somebody is actively trying to get in between you and your child's relationship and undermine it and destroy it. And you can sit there and ask yourself, well, not ask yourself, but you can sit there and look at it and say, this is, why would anyone do this to their own kid? Why would they try to sabotage their kid's relationship with another parent? Well, one, you already know you're not dealing with a normal person. You're not dealing with a person that can see things the same way as a normal person. And it's, and it's crazy making, because while you're going through it and you're trying to reconcile it and you're trying to figure it out, it's messing with your head because it doesn't make any sense. Then you're like questioning yourself, like, well, what did I do that's so wrong? Why am I so horrible? I'm not horrible. I mean, why would this other person do this? Well, they're doing it because they're a narcissist. They're doing it because they can't stop themselves. They're doing it because they are projecting their opinion, their now formulated opinion of you onto your child, and they think and feel that your child should have the same opinion and the same feelings towards you that they do, and they can't accept it, and they are going to do everything in their power. Yeah, and I don't even necessarily think that they are trying to, I mean, they are brainwashing your child. But I think that they, in their mind, believe all the crap that they're spewing and projecting onto your kid. Okay, so the problem is, how do you deal with that? I already said that once, but so how do you reconcile that? How do you interact with that and deal with it? And you have very limited options, but there are a few, and primarily those options are you let it go, which is really hard. You focus. So the second thing is you focus on your relationship with your child when you have them, and try to. I mean, you can't necessarily argue with them or act crazy yourself trying to say that. Your best bet is like, hey, I know the relationship I have with you, and whatever is being said at another house, it's not what's true and what's not true. I'm with you now, so these are my rules, these are my ground rules. You got to be a little careful on that, depending on how crazy things are, and and we are going to enjoy the time that we have together, and you do the best you can, and you try not to allow the crap that your ex is doing to interfere with that. Now, I've had other videos on this, but I think I needed to talk specifically about it because it's really tough. And the problem is that I can say these things, but it's not, guys, it's not easy to do. It's absolutely not easy to do because you have somebody who's completely screwing with your kids and screwing with you, and it's crazy making. It drives you up the wall. It's not fair. It's not right. They shouldn't do it. The court system should stop it. You can't stop these people. I mean, there are things that can happen that will push it back, but realistically, unless you, like I've said before, unless you really can spend the money and the time in court, and sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. I mean, so that's the next phase, right? I mean, if it gets to a point that it is overwhelming and you have to do something, then you have to do something about it. And if that means going back to court to get an injunction or another court order or a modification, or just to have the judge say, hey, you are ordered to allow visitation with the other parent. And if that visitation is a Skype call, a FaceTime call, a telephone call, or it's actually an in-person meeting, sometimes they're going to need a judge to say, knock it off, or there's going to be consequences. The problem is that it's a huge amount of money to go through all that, and time and stress and anxiety, but sometimes that's what you have to do. I mean, there's other things that people have tried to do, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. What I did is bought the kids devices. iPhones, when they were old enough, not all of them have them yet, are cellular iPads. I mean, that's kind of an expensive gift, and I didn't really have the money for it, but I wanted my kids to have something that was not dependent on their mom's communication capabilities, Wi-Fi or whatever, to be able to interact with me if they wanted to. And that's what I did. And that was after I went through the stuff that a lot of you guys are going through, where it's like, no phone calls, or you can't text, or if they were on a trip, it's like, there's no Wi-Fi. Really, who the hell doesn't have Wi-Fi anymore, right? But, wherever they were at, they didn't have Wi-Fi. And I remember one trip where when they finally were at a location and they popped up online, and I immediately jumped on, and I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in 2 weeks. And I think I videoed them, and I think it was video. Yeah, it was video because I know I was talking to them, and this was before it was cellular. It was just regular iPods, iPod Touch type stuff. And you guys, I mean, you already know what I'm going to say. What happened is, as soon as it's like, you hear, oh, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to Daddy. Oh, okay. And then 2 minutes later, well, it's time to go. We got to go. Let's get in the car. Let's go. And it's like, oh, sorry, Daddy, we got to go. Bye. And it's like, now it may be that was legitimate. Now, realistically, it probably wasn't, during that trip, that 3-week trip, if I remember correctly, it was 3 weeks. I didn't, that was the one time that I was able to talk to him, and then you're in a quandary because what do? Right? What do I do? I mean, I could go back to court. I could pay my attorney, go back to court and say that this is stupid and you need to stop it. I didn't have the money to do it, so that wasn't an option. So I worked around it. I found ways around it, and the ways around it were when the kids reached. I think I did the phones at 13, maybe it was. I can't remember what it was. I think it's high school age, and I that's what I did. And to get it to where I could try to do it. Now, I've talked to other people where they have done that. And the mom or parent, whatever, the other parent took the device away. Won't let their kid have it. I mean, and it's brutal how these people act and how what they do. They're playing with your emotions. They're playing with your kid's emotion. They're trying to destroy, like I said, they're trying to destroy the relationship that you not even you, that your child has with you. That's wrong. It shouldn't happen. The kid, a kid needs both parents. Even if one parent's abusive, and conversely, the flip side to this, the best case scenario would be if you had full custody of your kids and the ex went away. Then they wouldn't have to deal with the emotional abuse. They wouldn't have to deal with the covert abuse and the manipulation and all that stuff, and you could start trying to heal them. I've had conversations with my kids' therapist where they have said that if the kids were with me, some of the problem or a lot of the problems that we're dealing with right now would go away. I don't even know if that's a good thing to be told or not. Because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean I can run out to court and apply for custody because the therapist isn't going to get involved and isn't going to say anything. I could do a custody evaluation again, but that's thousands upon thousands of dollars, and there's no guarantee of what would happen. So your best solution is to work around it. You find ways to work around it, and when those solutions don't work, you have to escalate it to a different level. Now, more than likely, potentially, if the narcissist starts realizing that they do not have the ability to get under your skin anymore, then there's a good chance that they're going to knock it off, and they'll just get bored with it. And if you can stay stable, with your kids to where, they don't buy into what's being sold to them, then you can have that relationship, that positive relationship with your kids, and just kind of ignore it. And I know I say that, and I'm saying it's like, oh, you just ignore it, guys. I get that it's a freaking nightmare, that it's not. You're going to go through. It's not right. They shouldn't do it. They should be held accountable. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And maybe a handful of us have been successful to allow that makes that happen. I think for the most part, it doesn't happen. I think the best scenario that I've heard so far is that the narcissistic ex no longer is getting supply from the kids and says, this is a pain. I don't want them anymore. Now, and that's a tough one, because how does that come up? The way it comes up is something's happening between them and the kids, but that does happen, and that's not to say it'll happen in your situation, but your best bet is to, gray rock them, do the hybrid no contact that I've talked about, to where you minimize, you can't go no contact because it's, you have kids with them, so, you can't just completely go no contact. So that's where hybrid no contact is. It's like where it's as close as possible to no contact as you can get and still do what you're supposed to do as a parent. So, okay, I'll wrap this up. Guys, this is really tough. It is not any fun, and it really freaking hurts, and it costs a ton of money and all of the crap that goes on with it. You've got to find a way to get your own emotions in check and get yourself under control to minimize the level of control and impact that narcissist has on you. Every time that you get tense and you get mad and you flash anger, they win. If you show them, if they see it, they really win, because then they actually get narcissistic supply from you because they were successfully able to get under your skin and elicit an emotion. And it doesn't matter. They don't care whether you're happy or, well, they do care if you're happy. But anything that they can do to know that they've controlled your emotions is a victory to them. And it doesn't matter what damage happens in the process. All right. So if you can relate to this and you have a comment you want to leave a comment below. If you like this video, which, the topic of this video completely sucks, but if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike the video, give it a big thumbs down. And if you like this channel, please subscribe. And I hope you guys are doing okay, and I hope that this video helped a little bit, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye.